VeinSense, last year's award-winning app. I joined that together with Owen, and we'll see today how you can supercharge your hackathon with Agentic AI, but also with innovative thinking, other agent tools or other AI tools. So you actually have like a broad perspective and a lot of innovative parts within your application. We'll see today some different topics actually. Of course, the welcome and introduction, very important. But we'll also see the hackathon story. So how me and my partner actually approached the hackathon, how we decided on what to do, and how we actually got the use case. We'll also see VeinSense in action. I will give a short app demo to actually show you what it could do, what the benefits were, and how the AI was used as well in there. And then we will see all the technologies behind it. So I'll dive into it. Some of them I will touch rather lightly, other I'll go a bit more in depth, so you can see how easy it actually was to create this. It's not a very complex app, but the use case made it very innovative. Then we will show Daisy, which is like the AI heart of VeinSense. Daisy is just the name of the AI bot. And then how you can design for simplicity and impact, because that's also where innovation comes from, and then some inspiration for the future and maybe for your hackathon on, well, actually what to focus on. So first of all, well, who am I? I already got a small introduction, but I'm actually from Belgium, so quite far away, I would say, from you guys. But I studied computer science, and I actually never really went into that. So I'm able to code, but I really have a big love for low code. And I started out as an RPA developer with UiPath, but I still wanted to make applications. So that's why I moved to low code platforms like OutSystems, and always use that. I do a lot of sports and also some philosophy, but I won't bore you during these sessions with philosophy. But it's very interesting. And what I most of the time actually like to do is a multi-tech approach. And you'll see that's also something that happened during VeinSense. We actually use multiple technologies to get to the end goal. So we're not sticking only to OutSystems. We try to adjust other tools and add them to OutSystems to get a full picture and a full application actually. And I'm currently a very happy technical consultant at Valentic. I get the room to innovate, to use a lot of different technologies, so that's very nice. But OutSystems is still my big love. It's always the cornerstone, like I say, to everything. So it's the basis that I'll be using when I'm creating an application. It's also the big love for my cat. As you can see on the next picture, just from to show you. She's Neo, which is also, well, of course, the big mascot from OutSystems, and she always snuggles with it. So we're both very big fans of OutSystems. Now, VeinSense, like the Innovation Award-winning app. I always love to say this, the Innovation Award. It sounds very, very cool, but in fact, the app itself is quite simple. It's just the way it was actually combined all together. And we'll see that later on how that was actually done. But how did we really start this hackathon? Like, how do you get from nothing to an app like this? So what we did in the most Belgian way we could is we grabbed some beers, went to sit in my garden, me and Owen, the partner that I created the application with, and we started lining up our individual skills. We started searching like, what are your strengths? What are my strengths? Because you only have a limited time and you want to show a lot and want to do a lot actually. So that's what we focused on. And we both saw directly, we're very technical people. So we won't be building a very pretty app. We'll be mostly building something that's going to use a lot of cool technologies, is going to be innovative in some kind of way. So then what we did is actually look into the innovations that we did in the past. And he was already working with a lot of artificial reality stuff, and AI was coming up. The agent builder from OutSystems also came into play. And it was also a necessary thing to use during that time in the hackathon. So we tried a way to find it on how to combine that. Also very important is to see what the available time is. Both of us were full-time on projects, so we only had time during the nights for the hackathon. So we didn't really sleep that week. But that's also important to see what can we build. So we had some time to learn some new skills or implement these, but mostly we'll be using skills that we already could. During the session, I will also sometimes give like these little light bulbs, some hints. But the most important thing to do during the hackathon is just have fun, because this helps with your innovation as well. If you're just having fun and thinking, hey, maybe what if we do this, and you start building in a fun way, yeah, you'll see it'll just come by itself, all these tools actually. Now the use case. What we both did was we reached out to an NGO that we both knew, because yeah, you need to build it for someone, of course, this application. And the good thing is that we both knew them, so we also knew some of the struggles that they had. And besides that, we also had some personal things regarding the app that we wanted to solve. Because, for example, my mother, she needs to place on a daily basis actually syringes because she has diabetes, so she needs to place those. But as a child, I never understood where is she placing this, why is she doing this. So if I had like an app to help her or to understand what she was doing, that would have been really nice. Because let's say in a scenario where she isn't able to put the syringe herself, or someone with an allergic reaction needs to have a syringe put into them, you want to be able to do this in a fast and accurate way. So we're searching for ideas on how can we solve this problem actually. So what if nobody is skilled around, nobody with medical training needs to be able to help people as well. So that was a bit the use case we were searching for. And then of course, speed and accuracy can be of the essence or should be of the essence, because these people that we talked with at the NGO, they have a lot, but like a lot of patients that they need during the day. So they don't have time to start looking up people, looking up what kind of medication do you use, where do I need to go next. They really don't have the time to do all of that. So we went from an idea to a bit more a functional thing. So when you looked at all the users at the NGO and also ourselves, not everybody is super technical. So some people, while they have a smartphone, they're not really that good with apps. You can give them a random app and they won't know how to operate it, how to use it on, well, actually, they just know like the standard functionalities. They can open their mail, they can send some messages, and that's it. So when you actually want to innovate for them, you need to make sure that you also take them in account, not only the people who know how to work with an app. And a lot of these users also need the information on the go because they're writing from one client or one patient to the other patient. And how they currently did it was they searched for the information while driving. Yeah, that's a no-go. We don't want to be creating more patients. We actually want to be solving that issue. So don't touch the phone during the car. We had to find a solution for that problem as well. And yeah, like I said, a non-medical user should also be able to help if needed. Let's say they're stuck in traffic and somebody else needs to do it, then they could at least reach out and say, hey, use our app to solve a certain problem. So this is also another hint. Try to capture who will be using your application, because that actually gives a lot of new ideas. We never had the idea to create a speech assistant like we did, but it's because of the information that they were a lot in the car and they, well, were creating these applications, using these applications while driving. We had something like that. That's not a good idea. Maybe we can find a solution for that. And that's all because we were focusing on the end users as well. So the people that will be using your application. And this VeinSense was actually born. On the right, you can already see like a sneak peek of what the app does. But we use a photo to find the correct spot for a syringe. Initially, we wanted to do it with a camera, like filming and really tracking it live. But the hackathon is only 1 week. So make sure to create some shortcuts here and there. In our case, it was a picture. And what it does actually, it checks your body and it creates a signal that everybody knows. Red is don't go, green is go. So green is about the area where you're allowed to place a certain syringe. In this case, it was insulin type. We focused only on that, but of course, this is something you can expand. It's to create the idea and show what innovation paths could be done within OutSystems. Then we created Daisy, the voice chat enabled AI assistant. I will share that one as well later on. I hope you can hear the audio of my phone when she's, well, speaking back to me. Otherwise, I will say what she's doing. And then there was also facial recognition for faster working. So for example, in this image, we'll see that as well, is when you take a picture, you don't need to say who your patient is. It's just going to check the record files. Even in this image, it can find back my face and know, oh, this is Nash Mala. Okay, he has this type of medicine needed. This is his problem that he's having, and you can do that. And the general idea for the entire hackathon was, because we didn't have a lot of time, and yeah, we really wanted to show something off, was trying to innovate with maximum impact but minimum effort. And this is quite important because it's also for the user. The user wants to do minimum effort but get maximum impact. So it goes both ways. You always need to see, how can I bring something forward that everybody wants to use and really changes their life in a broad sense. And that's what we try to aim for as well. So minimum effort, you'll see that comes back at our side as a technical part. Because we're not really creating a lot from scratch. We're using stuff that was already out there and combined them to the perfect dish, actually. So like I said, you have limited time during the hackathon. Here and there, try to find some fast workarounds for tasks that otherwise might take so long. Like, for example, I really would find it cool if we were able to film it instead of taking a picture, but yeah, a week is very short. It's really it's the end is really fast there actually of the hackathon. So some lessons learned we had. Time goes by quickly, like I mentioned earlier. Make sure to keep that clock well in an eye, so you can actually create a final solution. And also, I would really like to improve on the UI and UX, for example, at our site. We really didn't focus on that. During the demo, you will see that it's, in my opinion, it's quite an ugly app, but the UX is okay, but the user interface is, it's doable, I would say. And also, do not forget about the presentation at the end. This presentation is quite important. It's the first view of your app for the jury. So if you can convince them there, then they'll look into your app. So make sure you have something cool to show, and maybe already from the start on, so they get captured by what your application is actually doing and can do, and how it, for example, will innovate some processes. But now, of course, the most important part, the demo time. I'll show you some of the use cases or the things that the application can do. And based upon that, we'll go further into the technologies and how they were built as well. So you get a more clear view on what it actually can do. The application itself existed from 2 points, or 2 applications actually. So you have the back office. This one is very, very ugly, but it's it's mostly done for the data. We just need some data so that the end users who use the mobile phone can actually, well, do their day-to-day working. So this just contains a few things. It has the appointments, some caretakers. So this is just where you're going, where you will be adding some medicine. For example, caretakers, it's now myself. I'll probably need to reload because my web has been on for some time. So we have some caretakers. For example, that's me. I'm a caretaker. In this use case, I will also be the patient, which is a bit weird because I'll be treating myself then. But it's for demo purpose, of course. And then we have treatments, patient medical files that just holds what diseases they have, for example, or what they need to be helped. And then face images. This one is quite important. That will be used, so it will be linked to a patient. And then when the patient actually, we take a picture of the patient, it will use this image to recognize if it's them. So this is a very straight up headshot of myself, but that's a good picture because we'll see later on how the face comparison can use this. So it will just check all of these different points. I need to wear my glasses as well because it's what I do day on day basis. So when we check it with the AI, it will also find myself back. And then we have some medications and some other items. But of course, in the back office, we also try to use some AI, some simpler AI, so just a chatbot. But this is also quite nice. This comes straight out of the box from OutSystems. We didn't have time to create full UX, so this chat box thing, it's already there. You don't need to be building that from scratch. So take in account that, well, if you can use it from the system, do it. It's going to win you a lot of time. And what I can do, for example, here is I can ask some questions, or I can either ask a free question or just see one of these pre-configured apps questions. So for example, with patient number 1, let's say I have a document and it just says patient number 1. Yeah, I don't know who that is. So I could just ask it. Let's see if it responds. There are some cases where it gets a bit finicky. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. That's a risk of AI. So again, yeah, I tested it before, of course. Now it won't work. Let's see if it's now going to work. And otherwise, I'll show it later on. It can be that the model behind is doing a bit tricky. As you can see, now it works. It's sometimes AI can be tricky. It's also because I'm using a bit of a cheaper model now in the back because I don't want to be paying off for it myself. During the hackathon, we had some funds available for that, but now it's the cheapest model. But you can see your patient number 1 is Nashmala. I has type 1 diabetes and currently being treated with rapid-acting insulin. This is something we'll be using on later on as well with the voice assistant if we want. And you can see that it's and to ensure that it reviews some of the medical records and it gives back some data and specific information about them. But this is just the back office. That's not the cool part about VeinSense. The real cool part is actually the user app on the mobile. I'll try to share my screen. It should be possible to do that. I need to see because sometimes it doesn't want to stay on. So just swipe through all my apps, and then we have VeinSense. I'll make sure that it's closed, that nothing is open, and then we'll just start fresh from VeinSense. So this is also a progressive web app. It's not a native one because we had some issues with voice commands. It wasn't allowed when you did a native app. With PWA, it was a bit easier. So to take note when you want to use items like that. So when we get into the app itself, there are a few different things you'll see. You'll just have the app itself. You'll see the appointments, some medication, medical database, and Ask Daisy. So Daisy itself, that's of course the AI. And the idea was the users don't really have time to type out messages. There are a lot of, like I said, in the car. So they need to be able to ask questions. I hope the voice comes back well from my phone to the recording as well, but I'll just ask a question. So I'm just going to click on Ask Daisy, and this is then going to allow me to talk to the AI. Hey Daisy, who is patient number 1? I don't know if you were able to hear the AI itself when
No,
it responded.
we
Oh,
can't hear.
okay. Yeah, it just responded with me with all the details about well, who I am. Again, it gave the same responses we saw before, but just with voice. I'm not sure if I can find a way to actually do the audio over here, so you can hear it. But yeah, I'll just like that. I can also share a recording where you can see it working as well, where it gives a response. So maybe I'll just share that afterwards so you can just hear her for once. But something else we also built was you have the toggle at the top. So right top, you can see, and then it's something called wake word. And this is quite nice because then they don't even need to press on the button. So what she will be able to actually do here is you can say her name and then she'll actually start listening and do an action. This is still in a beta because sometimes it works, sometimes it's a bit finicky, but the idea is out there and that's quite cool. So what I could do is, for example, say, hey Daisy, scan next patient. Again. So you can see she now went to the next screen. I didn't click on anything. So she knows from, oh, okay, you got my name. You want to do something. So she goes to the next patient, actually. What I then can do is I'll share. I'm just going to take a quick picture of myself. If I can find one. Oh. So I'll just scan my face real quick. So I'm just using the application itself. So you can see I'm just going to use that one. And I won't put it in the middle so you can see that it actually tries to find back all the key points of the user to get a correct scanning. So then it's loading and it's doing a few things. It's checking in the back for the face, if it recognizes me or not. And then based upon that, it will also give the points as well where it's allowed to put in the insulin, for example. So behind this is an Azure function and also an AWS service that we call, which I will show on later. So you can see it just creates the own circles actually. So it's all red. Red that means don't go. Green, of course, means go. It's of course not 100% accurate yet, but it's just drawing them close to where it is. So what it uses is it uses the hands and the hips and then tries to calculate a bit on where you should be placing the syringe. All of this is quite easy to do. I'll show it as well on how that was created. Next up, you can see we have the patient. So that's just because of my face. I never gave in the patient number or my name. And then it gives some more information. We could also check the medication, which I'm not going to do now because I don't have any codes nearby to scan, but you could then scan a code for a certain medication to verify that you're injecting with the correct item actually. And then if you just click finish, then of course it's fine. And then we actually went around and saw the app in its going. So as you can see, the ID is very simple. The app is also not quite big, but it's just the process itself that's quite easy. A medical caretaker can now do a lot of work without making a lot of errors because they're helped by the AI as well. So back to the slides. So what we did actually was, well, the typical extend technology with, well, other technology. It's building blocks on building blocks until you get like a full house, you could say. And that's what we were trying to do with, or actually try to do with VeinSense. So all the technologies behind VeinSense and something you can use as well. I'll go over that as well. There a lot of them are free also to use. We used Python together with Azure Functions because within Python there is a library I could use from Google called MediaPipe, which is quite cool because it can do the tracking, and this is also available in JavaScript. And I think there is a Forge component as well for this. Excuse me. Then OpenAI makes sense. We had to do the agent builder, and by using OpenAI, you can also use the function calling within OutSystems. With other models, that's possible, so make sure to use these models. Then you have the Azure Cognitive Services. This is quite cool. That's for the text to speech, and you can also do other stuff with that, and then recognition. And of course, our cornerstone and the most important one, OutSystems, where everything gets connected together. So the body detection, it's a very simple script in Python. I'm going to be honest. AI helped a lot with building this. So if you're, for example, during the hackathon stuck with something and you want to build something small, just use AI to help you. The code doesn't need to be perfect yet. Then it's not production-ready code you're building during a hackathon. It's something to show off, to show the innovation, and to show what's possible. We used the Google MediaPipe library. I'll show that as well in a live other demo thing from themselves. And you can detect hands and hips, and that's what we did to actually calculate the syringe location. We tried to see from how far are they apart, and then we could find some kind of way on where to place the correct circles. This is hosted on Azure Functions, and we just consume it with an OutSystems as an API. So that's quite easy as well. So when you go, for example, to the MediaPipe Studio, this is quite cool. So this gives a better example on what it actually does in the script. It's just detecting key points. What are key points? For example, on your face, there are a lot of key points. Everybody has like your nose, your eyes, your ears. These are points that are most of the time on kind of the same location, the same with your elbows, your shoulders, and they help to find other locations. Let's say you want to find not the hips, but a bicep or something. Yeah, you know that's between the shoulder and the elbow. And this actually allows you to do that, to find that back. And like I said, all we did was, well, we created one simple Azure function for that with Python. I won't go over the full Python, but I'll just quickly show that all we did was get all of these items back, so all the landmarks, and then based upon that, by the end, we just returned something with just the image back, so where we already draw the pictures, and then some of the coordinates, just in case if we wanted to do something extra with that, but well, we didn't, but it was just there. And in OutSystems, again, that's just like consuming an API. If you go, for example, we have an app where we integrate these. You can see it's nothing more than just, well, one REST call that's doing everything. So you can see it's just we're sending the image and then whatever the target circle is the one we want to inject, because this data comes from OutSystems. We always look at what was the last syringe location, and then based upon that, we get the next one. And there are 4 in our case, so we always just loop through these and give the correct one next up. And we also, like I said, give back all the landmarks just in case we needed them internally, but we don't use them currently. Like I said, this library is also available in JavaScript, so maybe you can do something with it during the next hackathon. There are some Forge components, I think, that use the MediaPipe library already, because while testing during the hackathon, I was also able to get it in video, and that was because of that Forge component, but I still had to add like the circles. but make sure to check that out. Or if you want to build it yourself and get it in there, definitely do so. I think it would be quite innovative as well if you maybe combine that with other AR technologies. Then you have face recognition. Also, this is everything you can use to just enhance your app with AI and stuff like that. It really helps. And this is a consumed service from AWS. So again, no real development at our side except for calling an API. So just enable it, create it, and yeah, use an account so your client secret and ID, and it's done. There's also a connector on the Forge, and it can also detect other functionalities if needed. So again, in OutSystems, if we go to the VeinSense app, we have, let me see, we have the compare source target image. So again, you can see these are just some actions. What we do is get the image by ID. So we check first, okay, we see who is the next appointment, for example, and then it'll just check these and if that's correct. And if it finds a result, then it'll assign that. And in the compare faces, again, this is a Forge component. Speed is of the essence, and also it doesn't matter, it's still being innovative. So we use the Forge component to compare the faces, and the only thing we need to do is send the image that we have in the database, and as well the image that has been made. So again, it's enhancing on a small and a fast way, actually. So if we would go to, for example, Amazon itself regarding that, you can already see a great example here on what it's going to give back. So these services, make sure to check them out on these cloud providers, because well, they're also free. A lot of them are quite free to use. So you can see this, for example, yeah, that gives a positive result, even if it's older, because you can see on the response, a lot of the items are quite the same. If I would select Jeff Bezos, for example, yeah, that's not the same. And that would also give that back in our API call, that it's not correct. But again, this has already been built. We're just adding it to our application. So no real effort, I would say, just a small effort and maximum impact, because it really makes it faster for them to detect the correct users. And a lot of these cloud providers, like I said, have free tiers, and it's perfect to test some innovative ideas. So make sure to check it out. Also use different clouds. Don't stick to one. Try to see where is what service available, which one is the cheapest. What can we show with that? How can we innovate? I think it will really help you during the hackathon to make use of these, because I know last year AWS and Azure were also there, some people from there, and you could get some funds. So make sure to try and use those as well. Because it's available during the hackathon. So it's a great way to innovate and try new things out. Then the text-to-speech, I won't go too deep into that one, but we used also service from Azure. It's a bit the same as AWS, and it can convert speech to text and the other way around. And we actually use this to do the text-to-speech and use the agents. So, for example, when you're doing the normally how you would do it to call an AI agent is like on the portal, you need to type. I mean, that's okay. But you can also talk and just change that to text and kind of simulate that you're typing. And then the AI will just respond as normal. So it's just sending a message and getting it back, which I will show you later on when I also explain the AI agent builder. So the AI agent builder itself, I'll show you the commands and how we configured it. It's really simple. It's out of the box from OutSystems. I really love the way how they're doing it. But it's connected with an OpenAI model, because you need that for the function calling, which I will also show how that works. And then we have the arguments, the commands. I'm really bad at typing long texts. If I need to give commands, it would be 2 sentences and that's it. But the AI needs some more information. So what we did is we create the AI agent commands actually with another AI. So we just go to a chatbot, whatever, GPT, or in this case, it's Lasha, that's a European chatbot. And I'm just saying like, hey, I'm creating an AI agent for this use case. I already have these kind of messages. Give me something better. And you can see it gives me this very long text, like the next patient information, you give it in this order, the appointment details, the medical information. So it really helps me creating a proper command to use that. Also, one that can have a lot of impact is add descriptions to your entity fields. Don't leave them open. It's also, it's a best practice to fill this in anyways. But the AI also uses these to have some more information regarding the data. Otherwise, it's just working with data and it needs to see the title and that's all. If you add some descriptions, that makes it easier. Also, play around with these instructions. It's a bit of trial and error. AI is still some kind of black box. Sometimes you get results, sometimes you don't. You saw that during the first part of the demo. Try to change that as much as possible so you get a fine-tuned ID. And then calling functions with your agents, I'll just show that as well together when I'm showing the agent AI as well. So within OutSystems, you have AI Agent Builder. You've probably seen this screen already, or if not, really go out and try to play around with it. In our case, we just have one bot called Daisy. And in the configurations, we have some models. You have the trial model, but I already got over the calls there. So I have my own Azure OpenAI model. You just need to configure it there, and that's all. You don't need to do a lot of stuff. It's just configuring and then connecting your OutSystems here with that. As you can see, I'm also using quite a small model, the Nano one, because it's the cheapest one. I'm going to be honest, it's my credit card that's linked, so I don't want to create crazy costs. But you can just use this one to create calls. So that's quite easy actually. And then in the agents itself, you can see we have multiple agents. For example, in this case, I have the Daisy one. And here you see the instructions. So it's the same as I showed before. I actually just used the description that the AI generated for me, and then I have a role. So this gives all some information about how it needs to respond. For example, how it needs to respond is the appointment with, and then the name, details from when it is, so that it actually creates a proper response and not just says, your next appointment is, for example, Jane. Yeah, nobody has anything about that. So we want more information. And then for adding your data, that's quite easy. We just added the data source VeinSense here. That's also something from your configurations. And we just added all the tables we had that were important. So patients, appointments, and everything that's connected in between. Also, with your AI model, you can configure some of these. For example, in our case, we could set it quite low because we don't want it to be very creative with the answers. It just needs to follow what we say and also be very strict. If it doesn't know it, it shouldn't be answering. So play around with these. It will make a difference. But now on how to call this in OutSystems, because it's, well, all fun and games to have an AI agent here and be able to type here, but the end user won't do that, is how we actually did it in VeinSense. So if you would go to our application, it's actually quite easy to call. So we just have a server action called generate answer. And that's the one that will generate an answer. We'll call it from other parts. For example, if you do the text to speech from here, we say text to speech, and we also have another action that does speech to text, and that speech to text will then be sent to our generate answer. So first we check, of course, is there an AI agent configured? You need something in the AI agent builder before you can do the call. And then we'll do something called reset functions. So we have a list that holds all the functions. And these functions are just, actually actions that you can do from OutSystems out. And if the bot thinks it needs to call that, it will do so. So if we go to the, let's say here, you actually have the list where we append it, and we say something like get patient by ID. Earlier, you heard me say get patient number 1. It will then know, like, maybe this is an action I need to call, and this is the name of the action that we will then want to call. So in the description, for example, that's something we give to the bot. You'll see gets the detail of a single patient, useful to answer questions based on what, how many, and who. For example, what is the name of patient number 1? That's just an example question. It could be 2, 3, 4, just a number. But then it kind of knows, okay, if this is the question that gets asked, or it looks like that, I might need to call one of the ID questions. And then we do call agent. So we'll call the agent. That's actually just the thing we just built behind in the agent builder. And based upon that, we'll get a response, and it will say, hey, do we have any functions that I think that might be useful for this? So if it's not empty, then of course we need to check, hey, was there a specific condition? And in our cases, if we get this back from the agent, we know, okay, you know what? We'll get the agent back by ID because we can do it better ourselves than the AI. We can get a bit more data and also get some more information. So as you can see, we just get it ourselves back here. We just assign it to a proper response. And then we have some more data to work with. We append that, and then we just clear the function again, and we let the agent do its job again. So It's quite easy, like you see, that's straight out of the box to use the agents. It's really easy. It's something I would say play around with it because you can do really cool stuff, but it's about all fine tuning and finding out how it works. Because sometimes it won't call the function, sometimes it will. It's all about finding the correct questions to ask as well. And that's something I will also give some information regarding about. It can be quite tricky when using this. So like I said, it allows you to have more control over the data when you call these functions. For example, in our case, we want really specific patient data, so we could get it back because of that function. And during this time, that's also very important. It only works with the OpenAI models. I tried with the Bedrock, but then you just get an error, or it just doesn't allow it. In my case, it just kept throwing errors. So use the OpenAI model if you want to do the function calling. But be aware of the risks. I see a lot of people just pulling in AI everywhere and using it, but they're not always correct. So you need to make sure that the user knows this, that they maybe double check that if needed. So there is still some fine tuning to do there as well. And users also might get very frustrated and rather than really helped. If the bot, for example, isn't helping you, isn't working together, need to take in account that if that happens, you need to have some kind of mechanism to still let the user go through. In our case, for example, scanning the patients only worked when the AI agent really understood that you said scan the next patient. Otherwise, you're kind of stuck. That's not the best UX. For the demo, it's good, but always make sure that they also can work without the AI if needed. And debugging can be very hard. Sometimes it's not clear why it's doing something like, at the first part of the demo, sometimes it gets the patient by number one. And if I do the same exact question again, it doesn't do it. I'm still trying to find out why it's happening because I can't debug the model, of course. I can only fine tune my prompt. So what I'm sending to the AI agent. So take that in account. It can be very time consuming. And during the hackathon, that could be a bit an annoyance sometimes. So make sure to already prepare some, or at least test with it a bit. And make sure you add value to the application with your agent or bot. In a lot of cases, we see AI agents that don't really do something extra. Make sure it just adds value to your application, not just for the sake of it. It should improve the user's life, actually. Then how to approach extending OutSystems. Well, I always use this kind of flowchart. Of course, it depends on situations, context. It's very different. But what I most of the time do is I just start. First, I think, does it exist in OutSystems? Can I build it out of the box? Yes, I'm just going to use OutSystems. For example, with the body detection, that wasn't there. I went further. Available on the Forge. Yes, there was something. I used that Forge component. It wasn't good. So I just started again. Start existing OutSystems. No. Available on Forge. No. What I need to know. Can it be created with JavaScript? Well, actually, it could have been in our use case, but my Python is a bit better. So that's why I chose that. So then again, no. And then is there a cloud service available? You can switch these around if you can write it yourself. That's nice. But you need to be, you need to be careful of time and budget as well with the services. Maybe they're too costly. And otherwise, if none of these are available, it's just create it yourself with code and then host a customer API. Sorry, my cat is attacking my feet. 1 second. Okay. So you just create it yourself and then create a custom API and consume that from OutSystems out. That's quite easy. That's a basic thing to do. And then design for innovation. I think we're almost at the end. Designing for innovation can be quite tricky. A lot of time people get it wrong. So what innovation is about, it's like a good pizza, I always say. It's different ingredients. Like a pizza is fine on itself. The dough is already there. That's, let's say, your starting point, or a good margarita, which is the base. And then you're going to combine the correct flavors. You're going to be adding something, maybe some extra spices, maybe, I don't know, some eggs. And you just keep adding to it until it gets like the perfect pizza. And it's the same with OutSystems. OutSystems is our dough. It's also round. You keep adding services to it, keep adding functionalities to it until you have like that right spot, that sweet spot of innovation where it's really helping people and really, well, doing the extra mile that another app can't do. And the benefit of doing it with OutSystems, for example, is that you can do it in a fast way. So also try to leverage that as well as much as possible. So make your perfect pizza during the hackathon, I would say, to get really an innovative app. But beware, because a lot of developers and myself as well is we often think innovation is also complex code and we need complex apps. Everything needs to be very, very cool. For example, with a toothbrush is a great example. it has nothing to do with complexity. It's about simplicity, because innovation comes from clarity, not creating something so crazy and hard that it's good. So give the example of the toothbrushes. A normal toothbrush, we of course all know that it's just to brush your teeth. That's fine. And then came the electric toothbrush, and it didn't change a lot. It's still cleaning your teeth, right? It's not doing anything extra, but it's helping you by cleaning a bit harder. It's giving you exact the amount of time that you need to clean. And also, it just, I don't know, it does it a bit better because I'm also kind of a lazy person, so I can be a bit more lazy when brushing my teeth. And it's just improving my life without really changing it too hard. So it's just very simple innovation. They could also create a toothbrush that flies to the moon, but why would I buy that? It's not, I don't care about that. It would be very cool from a technical standpoint. I would not want to know how this works from engineering and stuff. But the outcome, I don't care about that. And that's important because a user cares more about the outcome and not really the underlying tech. If your app works good, that's what they care about. Not that you're using AI or blockchain behind it. It needs to be working well. And of course, these techs can help, but they don't really know these techs as well often. And then VeinSense, yeah, we just simplified the critical problem using basic tools. Like I said, the app itself is actually quite basic, but it's just a design to improve their life. We weren't focused on creating the most innovative or cool app. No, we're actually focusing on improving the life of these end users and making everything easier for them. And then also adoption is also about accessibility. So like I said, innovation is nothing without users. If you have users and they're not using your app, yeah, it can be as innovative as you want. It's not going to be used, and it isn't innovative, you could say. So for example, let's say my only goal is to fly. I want to go flying. I don't want to do anything special. I just want to fly with something. Yeah, of course, I'm going to pick the drone because it's easy to use. I'm not going to be learning the next few years to fly a Boeing because this is created by engineers for engineers, while the other one is really created for max adoption by users. They can use this, they can fly with something, and maybe share some recordings. So really focus on that usability and accessibility for the end users. In our case, for example, it was the voice commands. We really wanted everybody to be able to use our app, and everybody, or at least most of the people, can use their voice or know how to give commands to someone. So yeah, simplicity can drive the adoption and increase the impact as well. And then just as the last thing, that's like the for the innovation of the future, is just build something that matters, right? If you can already try and mess around with the agent builder, you probably already have some day-to-day problems that you might fix. Let's say you love note-taking apps. Yeah, just let your notes be, I don't know, reviewed by AI or something. That's something you can easily create with agent builder. Look for other tools that you can combine. You can already go around and look at all those cloud services, what's available, what do we want to have. That's something you can do before the hackathon, just to give a general idea of what's available in the full technical landscape. And always try to think as an end user when testing. If it doesn't feel good, like if you need to think too much while using the app, probably something needs to be changed. That means that some of the design choices are maybe not correct. Maybe it's not as innovative as you think. It's maybe more complex than innovative. So try to take that in mind. And then most of all, just have fun during the hackathon. Actually, I mean, we won the award, which was fun. But for me, honestly, what I really liked the most was just working with Owen back then. We had some, we played video games as well during some breaks. We sit together, we're brainstorming like crazy. It was just such a fun time to have. So try to focus on that, and all the innovation and all the apps will come by themselves because, well, if you're having fun, you're happy. And if you're happy, you always think way better. So try to focus on that. It's an uphill thing developing. So focus more on, like, to say it's very dramatic, on the journey instead of the end goal, because that will probably give you the win, I think. And actually, that's it. If you have any questions or you want to see something more in depth, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to actually help with that.
Okay, guys, the Q&A is open. So if you have any questions, you can put it in the Q&A. And if you want, you can unmute and ask the questions as well. Okay. So we got one question from Pradnya, which is any
Yeah.
guidance to, yeah, you can read, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah, sorry. I was already reading it, ready to
Yeah, yeah.
answer. No, the question was indeed any guidance to host external APIs like Python APIs, and any guidance to convert, yeah, vanilla JavaScript in OutSystems not available in Forge like TensorFlow. Well, to host the external APIs, I wouldn't do something too crazy. What I did, for example, was I was able to write the Python script, but like I said, I used mostly of it with AI. And then I just host it on an Azure function. So I don't need to configure a full server. It's serverless. I just need to push my code to there, and it handles all the other stuff for me. So security and stuff, it's not super secure, but it handles that for me. And then regarding the JavaScript in OutSystems, not available in the Forge like TensorFlow, this is actually a good question. It's the same issue that I had, well, during the hackathon. So that's why we moved everything to Python. So I think when converting to that, it can be quite a tricky thing. So yeah, what I would do is I would rather move it to somewhere else and then just consume it, or at least during the hackathon to win some time. So that's quite a tricky one. And then, are you planning to further build upon VeinSense, or was it just an experiment? Yeah, I'm no longer well, working together with Owen, where he works at the NGO. So I don't know if they continue it, but for me, it was more of an experiment. I'm still going to work with the text to speech and speech to text because I still have an ID for that as well, not for the hackathon, but just something personal as well. But mostly it was just an experiment, the VeinSense, because it can also be quite tricky. It needs to be very precise. If something goes wrong, you don't want to be the app that gave a wrong index. Then I also struggled last hackathon. Great message. Yeah, I think a lot of people struggled, but that's the fun of it, right? And then how to inject or include Python code to the app. So it's not directly in the app. We just host it on an API and then consume it. So directly in the app, I'm not sure how you would well really do that. We just host it somewhere else and then call it from an API because that's easier to do.
Okay, in the chat also there is one question, Nash.
Oh, okay. You mentioned at point some time this AI frustrated users. Then how did you manage this? Yeah. So I'll just read the full question. You mentioned at one point sometime this AI agents frustrated users. Then how did you manage it in your app? Just fine tuning. So it's testing. So they were frustrated. For example, I was the user as well. I got frustrated by it as well because I was reconfiguring it now for this session. And I kept asking the same question over and over again. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. So what I did was just changed all the commands and kept trying in the agent AI builder until I get a proper response there. I also added all the descriptions to every field. That also seemed to help. And I also played around with some different models. So it's just, yeah, that's a bit trial and error. That's why I said it can take some time. What you also could do is if the user, let's say that the bot fails 2 or 3 times, give the user another option to just do it manually, a task or something like that. Give them always the freedom to use something else than the AI as well. That's also a solution.
Okay. Do we have any more questions? We have Owen with us as well. So Owen, if you can unmute, if you want to share your experience with VeinSense, since you are here now.
In my name? I'm actually with the baby now, so I can't really talk much. Sorry.
No, no worries. Okay. Okay. So, yes, guys, if you have any questions, right? It was very helpful session. At least you can implement similar things in your hackathon this September. So, if you have any questions or any issues which you have faced when you were implementing certain things in your hackathon project, majorly related to innovation, you can ask. Nash, you can stop sharing.
Oh, yeah, sure. Sorry.
Yeah, nice.
Thanks again also for having me on the session. Really love it.
Yeah, it was very say interesting session, I would say, and it is important as well. So if you guys want to implement agentic AI, which is one of the point now which OutSystem is pointing, right? If you're part of OutSystems Hackathon, so use Agentic AI. That's how you'll get more points. Okay. So guys, if you don't have any questions, it would be awesome if you can quickly turn on your video. Okay. For a minute, we'll take a quick screenshot and then we'll talk about the swag kit. Hello. Okay. Others, if you can quickly turn on. Okay, I'll take the screenshot now. Okay, that's it. Yeah. Oh, I can take one more, I guess. 1 second. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, so with this, we are done with our hackathon preparation series. But still, if you have any questions in the hackathon part, if you are planning to join the hackathon, participate in it, you can reach out to any speakers which we have, like Nuno Rees, Nash. You can reach out to any of the speakers if you have any doubts in your hackathon and if you're implementing certain things, right? If you want to find an NGO, you can also reach out to Shashikant. Uh, yeah. Okay. Now, in terms of swag kits, OutSystems swag kits will announce the winner of OutSystems swag kits competition on next Friday. So week as well. So share your learnings, whatever you have learned from this session in a post, okay? And we'll calculate all the posts that you have done related to these sessions, and we'll choose the top 3 winners. We'll post about that in Friday, next Friday. Okay, so this is a competition. You just need to attend the session which you already have done. Simply share a quick post about what is your learning from this session. And yeah, if you got more like and comment, you can win OutSystems official certificates. It will take some time to receive it. I will give the name to OutSystems and then they'll send it. So it will definitely take some time. Yeah. So the next session we're planning on 13th of July related to DevOps certifications. We would have Helena with us. Okay, so make sure to join that session. Uh, yeah, and this session's recording will be available on Monday. So thank you so much, guys, for joining this session. I hope you guys have a very good weekend. See you in the next session.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Nash. Bye, guys.